Well, I'm pretty happy I actually took a shower before watching the podcast and doing this video. As Joe said, some of the things were actually, I don't know if I'd say challenging, but I'm glad I had a fresh perspective going into it. Taking a shower, kind of like washing my mind clear, um, going into it with some open possibilities. I'll get into that a little later. So, the main gist of the podcast is talking about confidence and what are some of the, parasites per se that can, suck it out of us. I like how confidence was kind of stated as believing in ourselves to move forward. I actually went to a summer camp a couple years ago where the theme was moving forward. I feel like that's something that people don't appreciate as much. People can get stuck on certain things and, lose sight of what future they have in store for them. And so, having that inner ability so you can continue on with your life, whatever obstacles come through, I think that's really important. So the main gist of the podcast is talking about these thieves in plain sight. And so Joe continued on to talk about how, two of the main categories of thieves in plain sight are family and friends. When I first heard that, I was a little skeptical, but I think it was worded and I think it was brought up in a way that actually does make sense, and there are definitely valid reasons behind using those two as two main categories. So family, people only have so long to live. If our parents weren't able to do something, they may want to see us carry out their dreams or their passions, and so, we get pushed into doing, going to a certain sport, going to a certain school, following a certain job if our parents weren't able to get that far in life. And so our parents just try to, make us do certain things that we may not want to do so they can live vicariously through us. And that kind of steals our inner ability to fend for ourselves. And then again with friends, there's a lot of peer pressure, maybe with where to go to college, who to be friends with, who to date, what kind of relationships to have. And so kind of like instead of relying on our own sense of trust and confidence in a sense, relying on other people to make those judgments and then judge us for it. And then lastly, based on the video, this is something that I feel like I fall into way too often, is comfort and habit. That's another thief in plain sight. So comfort and habit, essentially whenever you get into this false sense of security of where you're at. It was brought up in the video of income, you're comfortable with income, you get into a habit of work, but where I see it in my daily life is just if I'm coming back from classes and I go to lay down, under like a little blanket, I don't feel like getting back up again. Sometimes I have to when I have homework, or if I have another meeting later on, but it doesn't always mean I want to. And so that's something that I feel like I personally continue to struggle on. But going into some of the concepts that I hope to talk about, reflect upon throughout my time in this class so far. So as far as things I've learned about myself, it's not that I feel like I've necessarily learned about myself, but more just reinforced. So we did personality assessments, and Billy did that for this class. I've actually done it for my job and a couple other jobs in the past that I've had. And what I learned from these assessments is actually very identical, or closely identical, to what I learned from the past assessments that I've taken. And so it's just helped to reinforce and strengthen the notion of, these are some of the strengths I have, and these are some of the things that I should pursue and build upon. And then again, as far as my career and future, I going into college, I actually wanted to be a pre-pharmacy major, and it's just because I thought it'd be interesting. I liked science. It wasn't until I got my first college job working for housing that I considered working, in a student affairs capacity, and a couple more jobs in housing later. It really strengthened that notion, and it's something that I decided I wanted to pursue. So I wouldn't really say taking this class has changed my mindset of doing it. It's just, growing up, I didn't really have a dream for being a student affairs professional because, well, I didn't know what that was. But I was flexible with what I wanted to do in my life, and I was open to things as they came up. And I feel like that's been very beneficial to me, and that's something that we, learn, being flexible. But just kind of hearing that in a more quantitative manner instead of kind of, figuring out for myself, I feel it's been very beneficial. And just continuing on as the, rest of the semester progresses, I'm not exactly sure what I want to learn. I think whether I'm learning something, whether something concept is being reinforced, I think those are all helpful things, but I think, communication, strengthening the process, strengthening the message, I think that would be a good positive message to continue to learn as the semester progresses. But again, I'm kind of open to whatever I think, as long as it's relevant information to futures and careers, life paths. As long as that's the main focus, then I'm fine with it. I'm in college right now. I haven't had an actual career. I've just had a couple different jobs to help set me up for something ahead. So that's what I've got.